Welcome to 2022. I believe this is the first video I've recorded this year. Coming to you. If you notice here, if you caught the most recent live streams, you'll see here I got this chair back here, this Furmax. It is available in the Sticky store. It's a gaming recliner chair. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome to relax in. I'm not gonna lie. It's got a lumbar pad. I have a decent working space back here. Nothing, too huge, but even for me, well over 6 feet tall, this thing works awesome, even in not a huge space. So I highly recommend this. Awesome on your back. Best gift I got for Christmas, by far. But that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to recommend that to anyone who may be having some back issues or sits at a computer a lot. Anyway, moving forward, I do want to talk about what's coming in the future. I want to do a little bit of a 2022 state of the brand address, if you will, to discuss the plans for this year, things I'm working on, etc. A lot of you guys ask questions. What are you working on? A lot of various things. So I just wanted to start by saying that complex nightmare of episode 297, what I went through with that can never happen again. And that is one of my goals for this year. My new year is starting a little bit later, basically because of that mess that episode was. So one of my resolutions, if you would is to stop spending so much time on things that may not deserve as much time. 297 and 298 were good scenes, but they weren't all-time great scenes. They did not justify the amount of time that went into them, and that's my fault. I chose to direct those episodes the way I did, not knowing what rabbit hole I was getting myself into, especially with 297. So I got to do things a little better that way. So that's my pledge to you guys to make sure things are a little bit smoother here. Also, one thing that did happen not too long ago, I want to talk about the community board and some other interactions and things. If you remember, I placed a poll on the community board asking you guys which telenovela you liked best, and then I deleted it. I deleted that because I have learned that public community board polls are very worthless. YouTube recommends those to people who don't actually watch the channel, and so I'm not going to run. That's why I stopped. I even stopped the Who Wore It Best. I'd stopped it. I did it, stopped it, started to bring it back. I feel like they're a waste of time, and the people voting don't even know what they're voting on. It's just people clicking stuff, normally clicking the first option. It's kind of a waste. Not every channel I've noticed seems to have that problem, depending on who YouTube is recommending the polls to, but it just feels like for us, they're recommending stuff to people who aren't actually watching them. I'm just not going to waste my time with that. So I'll talk about those here kind of in a minute. Before I get to the main topic of this video, some of our plans, I do want to address our original work, our original creations, if you will, what used to be called the digital creations, which is our written and illustrated work, which are now going to be called the SSB Comics, with a K, because they are so heavily illustrated with writing. So those are now going to be called Comics, and I am working on getting the first one totally remade and released here, and that is planned here within the next month or so to have that out. Anyone who's pledged on Patreon is eligible for these, and I'm going to have announcements on how it's going to be distributed and stuff. As far as live, and my goal for the year is to get the original the original 5. There were 5 original digital creations that had been released, and then a couple really small documents called Mission Chronicles. My plan is to get all of those remade and re-released this year. Some of them are fairly large, like this first one, and then what will then become the 5th one. Yeah, so there were 5 originally released. I'm planning on adding another one in there, making a new one, so there'll be a total of 6 if you count the original 5 and then the new one in between. So what'll end up being the fifth one is also very long. I'm making a lot of photos and editing things and adding things, so it's very time consuming. I've been working on this and coming up with ideas, brainstorming with some of you guys. Some of you guys have been helping me through email with ideas for things here for the last year or so. I took a hiatus from making those for quite a while, mainly because I just realized, I hadn't thought it through what I wanted for a storyline and things like that. And I came up with a lot of ideas over the last several years, and that's why they're being remade. It's the way I've always wanted to make them, and it takes time to come up with that. Originally, when I released them, like Adventures in Babysitting is one of them, obviously, which became live action. I just kind of put everything out there and didn't really have much of a plan or storyline put together for the characters. But I've been working on that for a while now, and so when they get re-released, it's going to be much different. The quality is going to be greatly increased, not only in the writing and the display, the presentation, but the illustrations are going to be much better, much more crisp, and finely detailed. My skills making those have been honed over the years. And so that's kind of something I'm working on. Originally, the quality when they first came out was very bad. And so I want to have higher quality documents, and therefore there's the time. As far as live action goes, COVID killed that. I mean, that's why we stopped with the live action. We had made our first project with Anna and Samantha together. That was filmed a little over 2 years ago at this point. That got released in the spring or summer of 2020, so we're coming up on 2 years when it was released. So both of the girls moved since then. Samantha moved and retired from acting, and then Anna is still going to be working with me. I've talked to her recently. I still talk to Samantha. I've told her, you guys say hi and everything. She's looks back very fondly on her time and had a lot of fun working with us, but she's kind of at a different point in her life now. Anna is still going to be working with us, but again, she did move, so she's not local. I want to this summer, towards we get into the spring here and into the summer, I want to reach out to maybe some local filmmakers for where I'm at and try and get some other people on board with actually filming things. I have no aspirations of being a director or a filmmaker, and the time consumption of casting people and managing the project is very difficult. Hopefully I can find someone to help me with casting. I mean, I can produce, I can pay people. We have the distribution networks built here, but it's just, it's a challenge. And hopefully if I can get some help with that, we can get some new people on board casting-wise, local people for regular and maybe a smaller regular series the way I always wanted it to be. That Charlie's Angels type series that I started several years ago with Ambush. That was the original idea with that. Maybe we can get that back and running again instead of just some one-off movies. One of the comics, because we already adapted Adventures in Babysitting, and that, it's funny, I originally wrote that. We did the live action. The live action added a bunch of detail to it, and then I was going to just remake it with some of that detail. I've already done that. I had already put that out there, but now I'm going to even add more onto that one. And it'll make some more sense to the people who watch the movie, who those characters were supposed to be that Samantha was playing. The third, I guess now it's going to end up being the fourth when I re-release them, the horror story that I had made that I'm going to be really adding on to. That is something that I want to adapt into live action that I've always wanted to. Kind of my own tribute to horror movies. And that's something, hopefully that I can get produced within the next several years. But yeah, so live action, I want to get back into it. It's time consuming, it's challenging, but I need help with that from other people that really have a passion for that. I can finance it, but I need, I don't have the time or the desire or skill sets for some things, and I don't wish to really. It's not a goal of mine to to go down that path. So moving on, now we're to one of the big things that's going to be changing, and there'll be a whole nother video about this when the time comes. I just want to get you guys aware of it now. I think I've talked about it before. I talked about it in the live streams. Channel memberships. If you guys are regular YouTube users, then no doubt some of your favorite creators have the blue join button on their channel, a channel membership. Channel memberships are the modern day incarnation of paid content. When I started on here, there was this thing called paid content where you could turn your channel to a paid for channel, turn your videos to paid for videos. Nobody used this, of course, because if you do this, especially if you make your channel private, you're going to lose all your ad revenue. So there is a way. YouTube realized no one was doing this. They shut it down, started this off as video game channel sponsorships, then they turned it into memberships for 100,000 subscriber channels. Now they've cut it down to all YouTube partners basically are able to get in on this. And YouTube charges more than Patreon does. This is kind of YouTube's way of trying to level the playing field against Patreon. We've been using Patreon for years, and we're not stopping. Live action titles, even the comics probably, original content we've made, that is distributed through Patreon. So if you're looking for Caught in Traffic, Adventures in Babysitting, etc., that's through Patreon. We've been very successful with this for years now. Patreon has lower fees. We're not getting rid of that. So channel memberships, however, it's a little bit different. The big problem with trying to use Patreon is that there's no integration with your YouTube channel. They're separate platforms. A channel membership allows me to use their paid-for service to work with the channel. So giving out perks like special emojis, special badges. I could probably have like a duct tape roll next to your name in the comments section as an example. Things like that. Early access to videos that are on the channel. So it's controlled through YouTube as opposed to me having a secondary channel on Patreon. There's certain things I can do and certain other perks that can be offered. There's very few limitations as to what you can't offer, and there's a lot of ideas like the community board, for instance, polls, only members-only polling, members-only community posts, behind-the-scenes pictures, early access to pictures, previews, things like that, and then early access for the videos themselves, for the KK episodes, and any other original content I have planned. Other series, I have a lot of series ideas written down. Remember we did the gag motive years ago, which was part of something I call now crime scene analysis. There's a lot of other ideas I have for analyzing scenes and talking about different tropes and methods and things like that, scenarios, stuff like that in DID scenes that I've had planned for a while now. Some of these could be members only or early access through that. As far as the KK goes, that's never going to be solely members only. That's not how that's going to work. If you remember when YouTube, here's the thing. I can't kill my current business model. The current business model works well. We make decent ad revenue money, okay? Well, in 2017, there was no ad revenue money. With the ad boycott, we lost everything, and then I said, I'm going to make episodes only patron only. You have to be a patron to watch the KK, and I did that for a little while. Problem was, it was about impossible to advertise because there's no integration. We were a lot smaller then. It wasn't anything I wanted to do. So the KK is not going to be members only. I'm not going to turn any old videos members only. That does not serve me to do that. You need to have your old videos pumping in traffic to gain new followers, to gain new subscribers, and to make ad money. And again, we have a solid business model already functioning, so I'm not going to disrupt that. I'm only going to add on to it. So again, channel memberships, you're talking early access. You're talking, right now we do early access to KK episodes with Patreon, but it's not much early access. Now, sometimes with those, you can get extra footage, for sure. So with this, what I would want to do is say, like, eventually have the members be like 5 episodes ahead. So I would release, and I'm not starting this till after episode 300. 301 will be members only. Then 302 will be members only. Then when I release 302, 301 will become public. 303 members only. 304 members only. 302 becomes public. 305, 306, 303, 307, 308, 304, 309, 310, 305. So by the time members have gotten 5 episodes ahead and members are watching episode 310, the public will be watching episode 305, and I'll keep it 5 ahead. So members, and I'm only going to have one tier. It's not going to be, that you can do a bunch of different tiers like Patreon. It's going to be like a one-shot, $5.99 a month, because YouTube takes a little bit of a higher cut than Patreon. It's going to be a one-tier, $5.99 a month. You get everything. Whatever I offer to members, it'll all be there. So that's something that's going to be implemented again after episode 300. We're finishing up the 6 degrees of Turkish separation, these 5 episodes here. Once we get to 300, then I'm going to start working on that, and it'll be integrated before the KK Olympics starts, and that will be several months from now. So, a couple months from now, it's going to be a new thing, the channel memberships, but 2 years from now, it'll just be part of the channel, like it's always been here, and you guys will be used to it. It's better for everybody. It allows people that want to support the channel to get extra features. It's very low cost, and it helps us out. So we're going to transition things into that early access method. Along with that, YouTube Shorts. Do you guys know what these are? I'm sure a lot of you do. YouTube Shorts are YouTube's way of competing with TikTok, which I would never use. So they're competing with Patreon, with channel memberships. They're competing with TikTok with YouTube Shorts. YouTube Shorts are not YouTube Stories. YouTube Stories has been in beta for 3 years. We got access to it like 3 years ago. It's for 10,000 subscriber channels. It's mobile only stories. You lose the video after 7 days. I've never touched them because I don't want to make an announcement where only people watching us on their phone can view it. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But Shorts are different. Shorts are videos that are less than a minute long, and they are available to watch on desktop. They do get uploaded into your video section like any other video, but if it's a short, by specifications, it goes into YouTube Short Shelf, so it gets sent out to people differently, and if they watch it through that, the fund, like the payment I get for that is decided in a different way. There's like a fund for that. But that's not what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it maybe for more exposure, and I feel like doing a preview of the next KK episode in YouTube short form. So some pictures, probably not video. It's going to be under a minute long. It's going to be maybe some pictures with me talking about the scene. So it could be 25 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever it is. A trailer, if you will, a preview of the next KK episode in YouTube short form. So that's something you're probably going to be seeing after episode 300. I would be on the lookout for that as well, so that you know. And I may do another video talking about that. Merchandise is something that's going to come. I talked about that recently in a live stream. I talked about it in the past before. Merchandise is, something that I just haven't got to yet. I was real excited about it years ago. I never got into it. So something, T-shirts, hoodies, whatever it is. I still got to come up with ideas for that. But that's something I'm planning maybe towards the end of this year. I guess face masks probably are not going to be a thing. That's one of the reasons I didn't rush to do it, because I don't think there's much longevity there. Yeah, so that's kind of what we got. For the most part, I'm trying to keep this video fairly compressed. We did live streams recently. A lot of fun. I love doing those with you guys, but I just can't commit to those time-wise right now, and I feel like you guys can't either. You really have to have a set time, and you have to have a huge following. Like, you got to have 100,000 plus subscribers, million subscribers to make sure that every time you do one, you have 100 people there or something. Right now, it just doesn't work out that well, and I can't really commit to it. So maybe sporadically, maybe a couple times this year we'll do one, and I'll announce it on the community board, publicly. But I just don't have anything committed to that. But yeah, the KK Olympics are coming next. Episodes 301 through 320. They're going to be coming. Well, recap 26 will come out after episode 300. We're only doing 2 recaps this year. 26 and 27. 26 will be before episode 301. 27 is going to be like a Christmas special. So this year, for the most part, there aren't going to be any recaps. There's going to be 20 new scenes from 20 different countries. Okay, and also about that, I wanted to talk to you. I don't want any of you to be thinking like, oh, 20 scenes from 20 countries. He must really be just scraping the bottom of the barrel to find 20 different countries, because I can't think of 20 different countries with DID scenes. I actually have more than that. I had to leave some countries out. And what I will tell you is, of the scenes I've selected, which pretty much everything, I've got everything done. I'm still making the announcements, but I've pretty much made all the decisions at this point. I would say that 4 of the 20 are 5-star scenes, and probably 14 of the 20 are 4-star scenes, some very solid 4-star scenes. So almost all of these are really good. The ones that may be less than 4-star scenes, they're kind of goofy, like the TV show's goofy. The scene is traditional, but the show itself is kind of weird, so that makes the scene not that good. But basically everything you're getting this year is really good. So don't think that you're getting shortchanged somehow because I'm finding these different countries. You guys are going to have some real good stuff this year. So that's kind of the plan for the year. I don't really have anything else to say. I think that covers it all. If you guys have any questions, let me know. You can send emails, leave comments. But that's kind of what I have planned this year. A lot of good stuff coming, a lot of time. And there'll be more videos, especially about the channel memberships, as we get nearer to that. But again, look for that to show up before we do episode 301. I don't know, a recap 26 may be a part of that. I don't know. They may come after recap 26. But I would say that episode 301, because of this delay, because of episode 297, how long that took, that did kind of push us back a little. I would say that the KK Olympics are probably not going to start until May, maybe the middle of May, somewhere around there. Yeah, I would say middle of May. So not February, March, April. It's going to be like 3.5 months probably before episode 301 comes out. But in the meantime, we have 299 and 300, and then recap 26. And like I said, the first comic coming out, quite a few things I'm working on in between. So, yeah, I mean, obviously I need to select the KK episodes better and choose I've come up with a little bit of new editing methods that I think are going to crack down on that time. Fortunately, I want to say 7 of the scenes I've selected for the KK Olympics are not in the Content ID system. 7 of the 20. That's pretty good. And a lot of the other ones, I can handle them. They're not like 297 or 298. So got things planned pretty well this year, I think. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's really everything I wanted to talk to you guys about as of right now. Is there anything I missed? Not really. I think I had told you guys before that the whole escape file thing, the custom stories designed by you guys to film, we kind of scrapped that a long time ago. I don't know if I ever officially announced that. Just cost efficiency didn't work for either party. That was something we had planned with Samantha years ago. I think I already told you guys that, obviously. We had canceled that because sometimes I've even had people ask me that occasionally. Other than that, yeah, that's kind of it as far as what I can see. So that is all. I kept it under 25 minutes. And, I will see you guys in the upcoming videos.